Has it started?
It hasn't. Oh yeah. Let me see. A recording has started. Yeah, this meeting is being recorded. That's fine.
Perfect. Let me share my screen then. Let me know if you can see.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yes.
So you can see, yeah. So today I was thinking to look into transactions here, this tab, and we have one more session tomorrow. We can do compliance, licenses, and reports. They are small, you know, areas, and we can do all three together. There isn't much to say there. But today, like a separate one for transactions. Right. So we've already seen how the main Fusion application works and how we need to set up properly products in Product Hub and customers in Customer Data Hub in order for GTM to work correctly. So it needs certain pre-setup, so the information flows and not interrupted, and we can, you know, process our orders. So transactions tab is basically our orders tab. So this is where these first two come together. So once we have the product set up and once we have our customers set up, then we can transact. Yeah, then we can create orders and ship products to sell and invoice and do all other operations. And everything is in this transaction tab. Let me show you from the beginning, I think, how the transaction we can check on one example. I will choose one of the, so Charlene, I will show you as well where the transaction and how they're happening in order management in main Fusion application. So as you can see, again, I'm switching between these two screens. So we are starting, because our processes in GTM, they are kind of in the middle of this order management process. That's why it's important to see the beginning and the end, so it's not like kind of completely isolated, and the next kind of flow steps. So I will let me see what I, so again, you log into this main homepage of Oracle application, go to order management, and then click order management here. So here is the search button, search field here, if we know exactly what order are we looking for. And I think if we click advanced, it should show us everything it has. It gives us the advanced here. So if we leave everything empty and just do search, list of orders, and I will sort it by create day, so we have the newest orders on top. So that's from yesterday. And we can have a look into, so these last two I created, so let's check one of those. So that's how the order page looks like. And trade compliance status is here. So once the order is created, Charlene, you can have a look at it. We have a good video about it in the walkthrough session. You know, the walkthrough sessions that we did for business. So where customer service.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I thought this was 9:30. I'm so sorry.
Yes, morning up, car. Sorry, we've started. I thought you can pick up on recording then if you.
Oh, great, it's recording.
No, but it's just like literally been 5 minutes, so you didn't miss.
Did we start from the point of creating a transaction in order management and then looking at GTM and?
Yeah, so we are talking about transactions tab, and I opened the order management page first because that's where we are getting the transaction from. So
Yeah.
transaction flows into GTM from order management, and so I just chose a random order to show Shaolin how it looks, and then I also suggested that there is more information about order creation in our walkthrough sessions recordings. So if she can refer to because there is some useful details from customer service team, but I will briefly show today. So that's how the order looks. And once it is created, so we can see that this is an internal transfer to Uptime Japan from Eugene, and we are transferring finished goods. So order type is transfer order finished goods, and it's only one item on there. So this one AB 110217, and so once this order is created and submitted for processing, it's being interfaced to GTM. And Shaolin, we have one of the tests where this kind of needs to be checked. So the order is created, and if you need my help, probably Shaolin, in creating an order, I can create an order and you can check how the interface works. Because for my test, I've done actually both. I created an order myself, just not to waste anyone's time, because everyone is super busy testing their areas, and I currently have access to I think most of the functionality of the Fusion application. So I created an order myself, but I can do it for you. So if you need any order created, let me know, or let Jotirmoy know, so he can do as well. So for your testing, we can create orders and you can test the results and interfaces. So basically, when the order is created, it is transmitted into GTM, and then let's see. So this is order 1412, and customer service, let's say, just submitted it. Then we go into GTM and click onto transactions, and this is our tab, trade transactions. So same idea as on previous pages. You can put the exact transaction ID, I mean order number, here to search, or you can just leave click search and we will get everything. So we are currently looking in 14112, so that was the last order I created yesterday evening. So if I don't put the number here, just click on search, and it gives the full list. And then we need to sort it by create date, so we have the latest on top here. So yeah, here is our 25th of November orders, all created yesterday. As you can see, we're creating quite a few for testing, all from yesterday, coming to more a day. So, and then this is 1412 here. So that is how interface works. Order created, and we can see this order in GTM. So let's click on into the order to check the details. So we can click here. It opens up the order page. For us, so it had this set of indicators. So if it is, so it's very visual. If it's set to green, that means that GTM doesn't find any issues with this order. And then if you go check status, this button here, you click on status and gives the summary of the checks. So if you can see, it says sanctioned countries passed, RPLS is restricted party list screening passed, product classification complete, other screening, which is checking for restrictions and kind of other things that we input in the system. It's passed, and control screening, it's for licenses, but we don't use this functionality for the first release, so probably it will come to action in the next release. Then we can see that the transaction status sent to OM, so that means that the GTM got the transaction, screened it, checked it, couldn't find any issues, send the response back to order management, and the overall status is passed. And that results in this green indicator here. So we can see from here then when this transaction has been created. So it's yesterday 5:15, and last modified date. So it shows the same date, That means that there were no any changes to this transaction. Let's say if someone, in order management, you can create revisions. For example, you want to change quantity or you want to change ship date, maybe on customer request. So customer service can log into the transaction and modify something. So any modification in order management, it triggers another check with GTM. So if I log into, if you can see here, created day 1714, modified same, so not modified. If I log into the order and I do change the 5 to 6 quantity, and then it will trigger another check with GTM. So GTM will show that last modified date is 26th of November, 8/21. So something like that. You can see that that's where you can see that actually GTM is picking up the updates in order management. Another thing to check here is we can go into, this is the overall transaction. Then we can go into transaction line tab. It is only one line on the order, just like 5 items of this product. So we cannot have, we're having only one line here. But then it gives you information about, again, it shows you indicator for the order line, item ID, descriptions, country of origin. So to see more details, to see, let's say, restricted party screening in detail, and kind of to see full details, we're clicking on this little pencil here, and it gets us into the transaction line page. So you can see the actual product that's being shipped, description. Then we have scheduled ship date, so and order date. So it's been created on yesterday, but this I did on logistics request. They need to do one of their tests, and they asked me to put the ship date next day, not the same day. So that's why the date is different. So it could be the same day, depending on what's happening in order management. This is just the interface of information from YM to GTM. Then we see that the product has its classification. So we are sending it. The order is internal transfer from AppCam, from Eugene to AppCam in Japan. And that's why we have classification for Schedule B, which is US export code. And then we're sending the goods to Japan. It is HCS Japan. So these two picked up by the system, and it's correct. Then we're screening further, and then we come into this tab, involved parties. And these are our details about denied party screening. So you can see that we are screening all the parties involved. So bill to, ship from, ship to contact, sold to contact. So all of these parties are getting screened. And then the indicator it highlights here. So we can see that the GTM used the car data feed, screened everything, didn't find any issues, everything is green.
Victoria, Kevin, one of the issues we had was incomplete customer creation from a ship to and bill to point of view from data migration. If we were missing any bill to or ship to, obviously the data is not there applied against the customer. Would it just fail because it needs to have a value, and also the value needs to be within the correct region?
Yes, I think so. I think so. And so there are things why customer can fail is firstly, if GTM can't completely see this customer, that means that GTM ready flag hasn't been set up. The three things that I showed when we were talking about customer
Active,
on Tuesday, yeah, it needs to be buying customer, it needs to be active, and GTM ready flag tick. So once these three complete, then GTM should be able to see the customer. And then for the fullness of the transaction, and that is just a requirement, because you can't create a transaction or an order without having all this information, because this is basically
that's why that's what I was thinking. I didn't think that you could actually create a sales order if you don't have the ship to information. Yeah,
and bill to. So you need to know. You basically, we are sending the goods. So ship from is important. Yeah. So basically, where this org, which transaction is coming from. So it's 210 org Eugene. then we need to have bill to whom we'll be invoicing this transaction. So it has to be filled in, and then you have to have ship to, so where logistics will be physically shipping it to. So I think this is all kind of just requisites for the transaction.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you don't have it, so how do you go about it? How, to whom you invoice, or to where you ship?
Okay. We can go on that assumption. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is all green and all checked, and this is nothing kind of important from here. So this is our transaction, and then once it's screened, it has all this status. It passes the status back to order management. The indicator is green, and then order management receives this. So initially, when you create an order, you don't have this part here. So this part is not populated, but once the checks are complete, all these indicators come through, and then the management team can view details. So if they click here, they see the screening result. So they see that that's the the product, and that it shows screening date. So screen date, and I'm not sure what time. Okay, that's Eugene time zone. So I've been doing it 5:15 p.m. shows 9 a.m. because my GTM transactions set for Eugene time. And then we have the indicators for each of the screenings. So restricted party passed, sanctioned country territory passed, trade control, which is restrictions and licenses, so it's all passed. So we have all the three indicators green. And that means once this is all green, then the status here in the order changes to awaiting shipping. So until order management receives green light from GTM, it won't change this status. So once the green light is received, then the status changing into awaiting shipping, and that pushes the order through to logistics.
Yes, and then the next stage is the picking, pick confirm, and then shipping,
Yeah.
and then there's a second GTM check at that point as well.
That happens only if the order creation date and ship date are more than 24 hours apart. So if we are creating an order and shipping it on the same day, there is no second screening. Second screening only for 24 hours later. If order created and we're shipping the next day, so then the second screening happens. If we are creating an order and it's shipping to only one screening, because kind of second it doesn't get any extra value.
Thank you.
Let's have a look into just again, I'll take you back to the main screen, and we will look into this business monitor. And these are our GTM transactions. So that's, I think, how I see trade compliance starting working day. Basically, we wouldn't be going into tabs straight away. Probably you can, but then the shortest, this business monitor is the shortcut to the main outstanding queries or issues that GTM has already highlighted. Because you can find the same transactions from here by going and filtering or just looking through the list. But if you go here, it straight away gives you information that GTM transactions failed query. So you click here, and currently we can see that there are 13 transactions that needs our attention. So they failed for some reason. So let's check why this one failed. So indicator is red, and let's check from the status. So it says sanctioned countries passed, restricted party list failed. And then it says that transaction status sent to OEM, so, and the overall failed. So we screened, we found there is an issue with restricted party, and we send a reply to OEM that the transaction failed and can't progress to shipping. So to see more detail, we go into transaction line. You can see that all the lines show red indicator, and to see even more detail, we click on excuse me, click on this pencil here. Let's see. We know from the status page that it is restricted party screening, so we straight away scrolling here.
Go to contact. Yeah, Laden.
Yeah.
You can't
So,
get any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Direct.
So you can see GTM in action. So any newcomer and Laden can't buy from Afghan. So then, okay, here is the person in question. You click on view party screening results here. And it should take us to the same page that we looked into on Tuesday. Yeah. GTM is the morning coffee, I think. A bit slow.
So sometimes when we saw the reason for restrictions from a federal agency, there was a link, and then if you click that link, it takes you to Descartes, but then they want another username and login to go and have a look in Descartes.
Yeah, and we have it in trade compliance. So in theory, I can go further and log in further and check. So we have this link and password as well. So okay, eventually we received our result, and so we look here, and of course the list is enormous because we chose the name for testing is very, well known.
Is that real? Somebody put in Al Qaeda.
Oh yeah, we did for testing, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, I mean, these are the results, but we chose the name deliberately, yes. So we needed something that we definitely know that it will be picked up. I mean, it should be picked up. So something visual, something that we can demonstrate and we can check the system on, yeah. So that's why we chose the name. But then these are actual results from the denied party list, yeah. And Osama bin Laden is the well-known terrorist, and he is on all the possible, I think, lists. And that's why the result is enormously long. But then it gives you good chance to check, really.
Yeah.
So you look through all these records, and this first match, and it is in a decreasing percent match factor order. Yeah. So firstly, you will see the 100% matches, and then at the end probably something around, yeah, I think 76, 77%. So we review this all, but I won't change anything on this one because it's probably good example for testing. But then we will have to, for our transaction, so for our daily routine, we're checking our business monitor. We say, okay, there were like 13 transactions stuck overnight. We need to process them. And then you start from a transaction, you identify your reason for hold, and then you carry on. Basically, you make your decision on the denied party screening.
Can we have a look at the business monitor in a little bit more detail, please?
Yeah. So when we were talking about restricted party screening, we already discussed this.
Yeah.
So that was the contacts.
Yeah.
Who failed query, let's say they created a new contact yesterday in CX, and it failed screening, so I will see it here. And because there are too many here because we did the data migration. Yeah. So normally we shouldn't be seeing that many, so we will have to reconcile everything before we go live. Basically check which needs to be set up as red will be set up as red. The rest will be set up to green, so it won't say sit on 10,000. So it will only pick up new contacts or companies or changes that's been made to the list. So should be like very few. And now we have this transaction, which we're looking in today. Query is a transaction, failed transaction, and transaction lines. So we can go into, it's pretty much the same, but it shows like there are 13 failed transactions, but some of them have more than one product on the order. So here, on my example, was one product, one order, one product, but I think the one that we check here has several products on it. Yeah, 351. Let's go on to transaction line. Yeah, it has 4 lines. So this business monitor is a summary. That's how many orders failed, and that's how many transaction lines failed. Because within the same order, you can have failed and non-failed lines. For example, if the failure not due to restricted party screening, but the wrong classification. So let's say one product classified wrong, then you will have 3 green lights and 1 red. So yes, not necessarily the amount of orders multiplied by amount of lines will result in this number. Within one order, it can be green and red. Overall status will be red, even if only one line is failed. But then it will result in here how many you can check on here.
So when I look at this business monitor, I can see that there are 4 queries. Were these queries that we inherit or we made? Or
yeah, we made. That's the customizable. Yeah, you can bring anything here, anything that's.
Is that enough for R1, for example? The trade compliance officers.
It does cover basics. It's not supposed to cover everything because this is basically a shortcut to the main activities. Yes, something that you need to see straight away. So for me, I need to have very visual, let's say licenses, which we will talk about tomorrow. I need to see it in front of my eyes so I don't miss any expiry date or anything. So I asked GTM to bring it here. So I can find the same information by clicking into the licenses. So I can get to this information, but on Business Monitor, it's a shortcut. So you come in the morning, you open your page, let's see what's going on. Okay, 1 license is expiring. I have new customers that failed screening, need to check. I have 13 transactions overnight that failed screening. So basically, and he can add anything that's what I could think about because we haven't started working with it yet. So it's our best guess at the moment.
Yeah, because it failed items or failed customers, or we haven't got a license for the whatever license types, and I can't think of anything else.
And if anything comes up ever, so we can ask them always to add. So this based on our request.
Yeah.
If we think of, okay, I need to see this because it takes me, I'm going into this tab in GTM very often. So for me, it would be more visual if I have it on here. I think GTM can fairly easily.
Is the creation of a query here something that AppCam would need to understand how to do in the future?
It's technical. No, there are some technical jobs with GTM, like creating restrictions, logic for. So that's only technical support can do. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we can check a few failed transactions just to see why they're all failing. So let's look into this one and straight away into status. This one is failed. You can see sanctioned countries passed, restricted parties passed, product classification incomplete. So failed because of the incomplete product classification, so something different. So we go into transaction line, and that's what I described actually. You have 2 products on this order. One of them passed screening, has green indicator, and one has red. We know that there is an issue with classification. So obviously there is something wrong with classification for this product. We go, click on this little pencil, open up the, and if you can see, that's the party screening. This is all green, no problem here. But then we go here and we see that the product classification is missing. So normally you expect to see product classification here, but it is missing, which means the product hasn't been set up properly in Product Hub. So we need to contact Product Hub team, check what's happening to this item. Normally, that's the reason would be that the base HS code is missing in Product Hub. That's why GTM can't classify it. It doesn't see the base for the classification. And I think that should be on the list of my potential, how you call that, failed, and how to action them. So in this case, what I will be doing, I'm saying, okay, product is missing classification, missing because GTM can't see base HS code from Product Hub. Contacting Product Hub team, asking, guys, can you please check if this data is populated? If not, can you please populate? And then once they finish, it should interface correctly, and then we should see classification here.
Okay, like the base HS code that you showed us yesterday, there's country of origin base HS code.
Yeah.
And it was like a free text field. So in a way, you could just write down blah, 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 or is there some validation?
Yeah, but it will fail anyway. So GTM needs to receive correct data. So if there is a code, if someone populated into this base HS code in Product Hub, just some random numbers, which doesn't make any sense, GTM will fail the transaction as well. GTM only understands the correct data, so it expects to receive some certain, combination of numbers. Yeah. So if
USA export, it must be this value. You've given me a French value, so I'm going to fail, even if we think it's the right value, but it's for the wrong country.
Yeah. So if it doesn't understand the data in the field, so it has to be correct data. This HS code needs to make sense to GTM. If it doesn't, it will also, classification will be incomplete. It just won't be able to classify it, and it will be empty, and the transaction will fail.
Okay.
So basically here, the transaction won't be moving any further until we get this sorted.
Yeah.
And the first step to sort it out is just to contact Product Hub, because that's where it starts. So anything you have here with the customer probably will be involved with CX team and customer data management team. If we need to sort out anything here around the parties and party screening, anything around classification needs to be sorted out with Product Hub. They set up it properly. Right, so that was an example actually of different kind of holds that apply. So we check the first, the second, let's see the third. Status. Same here. You see party countries passed, party screening passed, classification incomplete. Go into transaction line, same. One passed, one failed. Again, an incomplete classification here. Again, incomplete classification. So that's where the, or probably this, these items are sitting here because I had some tests where I had to check that it will be the transaction will fail if the data is incomplete or incorrect. So these transactions, failed transactions, are here on purpose.
Did you go backwards and forwards between Fusion and here and input a correct value and see it and then take it out and not see it?
Yeah, but now they did the, so basically in Product Hub now, in main application, you can't just go and change data. You have to, and that's good, that's how we asked it to be. So it goes through approval process. So it's not just a question of going in, changing and saving. Any change on HS code will go through approval process. Anyone who wants to change it, they changed it, but then it generates the card of change request basically, and then it goes to someone person job. So which is the double control actually, yeah. So we are on 8:45. Shaolin, shall we let you go then? Because I think I'm almost kind of finished with the transactions. We're just looking through different options and seeing what happens and how. But that's the general idea of all this. If you have any questions, you can let me know. Yeah, and I just don't want you to miss your bus today.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So 1 hour later, we will continue the meeting, right? I think you booked 2 meetings today.
Did I? I have to.
Yeah.
No, I think I moved the one for tomorrow. Let me check just
Tomorrow.
There's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow at 9:30 GMT.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was today.
This.
No, I can't see anything. Charlene, did you make? I mean, no, that's the only one GTM, and then we have one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The one that I was in the morning tomorrow, I moved for 9:30 because you asked, I think, a little bit later to start. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, for you to finish your studies and MBA.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I just checked it.
So yeah, we can reconvene tomorrow and talk about licenses and a couple of other bits.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, have a nice evening, and I'll see you.
Victoria, sorry,
yeah.
Victoria, I've got a question for you though. Sorry, I mean,
yeah, I just want to let Charlie go, so we can.
Yeah, you haven't got
Okay.
to say, darling. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, Shannon.
In the case of communicating between, so let's just say that there is an error like this, and you've got to communicate the product hub people, the product team. How exactly are you communicating? Is it via email? Is that the approach that's going to be
I guess
done?
so.
Just pretty much.
There is no any inbuilt communication in this.
Yeah.
So there is no any chat. Would be good to have like a chat bar saying connect to product hub or get a request or put a request, change request or something from the system. But no, I think it should be like an off system.
An off system. Okay. Because I know I mean, recently in recent times, it's just been confirmed that OSN won't be used. Yeah. Oracle social network
won't be used.
Yeah, we won't use anymore. When there's too many security issues that sit around it. But I mean, that might have been something that could have been used for internal communications because it keeps all the history. But I think we've got issues around GDPR and how exactly we store the data, how long it's actually kept. I don't think it falls in line with what we're trying to do. I mean, if we're saying in the case of emails, we keep emails for 3 years, and then in the case of Oracle OSN is looking at keeping data for over 7 years. You know, so are you keeping people's information necessarily? I mean, how exactly are we going to continue to manage people's data? So yeah, still got a few issues.
These activities, Kevin, is actually the better we have data governance, the less communication will be there. Potentially, we don't need any communication with anyone. If the products are correctly set up in Product Hub, each and every one of them, and if the customers are properly and correctly set up in Customer Data Hub,
there shouldn't be an issue.
The only issues that GTM will highlight is the actual compliance issues. Because like the specification issue is basically lack of data.
That's true.
It just has to be resolved by us contacting our colleagues and putting data right. So if it is correct at first place, then it should work without any.
So that's a very large thing to say. If it's correct in the first place, is there any value in Victoria communicating with the data migration team the expectations of data required for GTM, or rather than saying they know that and they'll just do that? I'm just wondering, rather than later on having to make lots of corrections.
Data migration. Data migration. We were talking about. We had a meeting about the customer data migration, and then there will be a reconciliation happening. Yeah. So this will be one-off exercise of data migration. So I'm more talking about the ongoing process of when you're creating a new product, when you're adding a new customer. So data governance from that point of view. Migration, we will have to migrate and reconcile before we go live.
Okay. And then post go live, the ongoing activities of knowing how to liaise with Product Hub and the trade compliance team over any missing data or corrections that need to be made by internal email, and it's within the organisation. Doesn't seem a big issue from a compliant point of view.
Yeah, and then we need to put all these things into training materials and emphasize how this one line missing can result later on in the whole transaction getting stuck and the customer order not fulfilled and the customer and our delivery times and everything, and you know, NPI score or everything can go wrong just because this one line hasn't been properly set up in Product Hub. So
exactly, if I was a manager, I'd say, well, what's your turnaround time from you know, we're trying to put orders out, we want a good customer experience, so I want a 24-hour turnaround time between missing data being identified, sent to Product Hub updating, GTM picking it up, and then would the order then need to be resubmitted or redone from scratch?
Yeah, we have to be a revision, because like once it's screened, so there is no constant data exchange between order management and GTM. There needs to be a certain trigger that triggers this interface. So, and that any change in order management, like any revision created in order management, triggers another attempt to screen in GTM. So for these orders that are highlighted in red to be rescreened, they need to be resubmitted from order management.
Okay.
Just basically a revision created and submit again, so without any changes in it, so they don't need to change anything, but they just need to trigger another process.
Just do a revision and resubmit, and hopefully the revision will pick up the missing customer or item classification data.
If we sort out the issue before, so we see an issue with classification, we go to Product Hub, we sort it out, we know it's done, and then order management needs to trigger another screening by resubmitting an order, and then GTM will pick up the latest data.
Okay.
And then
sorry, go on. No, I was going to say, Upcar, you raised that issue around not data was complete under customer service for GTM.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Victoria about that, and it's known that an exercise has to happen by which they would link back customer accounts that would have to be set up effectively for GTM. So that's an activity that has been agreed by way of customer service. We've got to walk through all their customers, which aren't that many. I do believe they're under 100.
Buying customers.
Buying customers, sorry, yeah, buying customers, and reduce it to the point of these are the customers that we need to do GTM checks on, and at that point it would be linked.
Oh, that's good. So active.
Yeah, so I found who was dealing with it. That was Tobias, Toby, and Marco, and Rage Swari. So I don't think I actually know anyone of this guy, but we had a meeting with them, and that's where it started. So he basically, I just checked, and I thought maybe he sent us the spreadsheet, but I think he was sharing it on the screen, and it is cutover planning. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I got you.
Cutover planning, data migration, customer sites, addresses, contact. So for some reason they started with me. They thought that I'm the person to own this data, and I say I can only check the second part of it, the interface from Customer Data Hub into GTM, and reconcile that. But the first reconciliation from a spreadsheet into the system needs to be happened before, and it needs to be done by customer service. So this you can see our guys here.
Is there anybody from finance in there as well? Is it?
No, because this is not a financial,
Because there was an idea, there was a split between finance saying we'll do the bill tos on customers and customer service saying we'll do the ship tos.
Probably it's in kind of within their activity of the initial first reconciliation from a spreadsheet. So they say that they will I think, as I understood, the activity will be they will download customers from the existing systems, and then they will integrate, and they will check which of these are staying, which contacts are staying. So validate. They need to validate all these. Once this is done, I'm not sure how they're going to do it. And then the IBM will load the data into the system, and then CX reconcile it. Yeah, so they check their spreadsheet against the data migrated. Once they're happy, and they're saying, okay, these are the customers we want to transact with, and they will provide me with a list, that's final list in their opinion, then I will have to take that list and check if I can see exactly the same in GTM.
Okay.
And that was called the cutover planning, and there was a long spreadsheet with dates. Kevin asked about the dates. I think you need to reach out to this guy because he didn't. I can't see him, attaching the spreadsheet to.
Yeah.
Yes, he was sharing it on the screen.
Okay.
Okay. So that sounds like a chase-up activity.
Yeah. Let me. Can you do? Sorry, Victoria, can you do this? That email? Could you possibly send it to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I can have
It's not actually an email, Kevin. It's a meeting invite. So I was just showing you the participants and the subject.
Right. Okay.
So cut over. I can forward if it helps in any way.
I have a word of Tobias.
Tobias Gibbs.
It's not a popular name, that is it? Tobias.
Yeah, I think he calls it Toby. He calls himself.
I call it Toby. Right. All right. Then I think I'm happy. Is there any questions that you've got, Carl?
I think it's really good from a transactional point of view, especially with these exceptions, and also with the monitor for the queries. I think it's such a nice way to know where to go to work rather than waiting for issues and knowing what to do because of an emergency. You can go in sort of straight away and have a look at a one-stop shop front face interface and sort of see bad license, bad party, bad customer, need to identify, and knowing straight away for each one of these, I'm either going to go to Product Hub or Customer Data Management, and for licenses, I don't know. Well, it's R2 really, but
CX here to all the management team if it's something with the transaction. If you can't see a transaction, so there is a lot of communication with CX as well.
Yeah.
But because they are currently as well, there is no this customer data hub team at the moment, so they don't know exactly who will be the owner of the activity.
So that's why I think it's customer services and finance owning the build to and ship to is the sort of like at the lower level where they've sort of agreed at the moment, is the understanding. Finley and those guys will do the build tos, and Emily and those guys will do the ship tos.
Perfect, yeah. And for GTM, as you saw in this transaction screening, GTM screens everything. So we basically need to have data from both. Once they finish their activity, their joint effort, all of it, and build to and ship to and sold to, everything needs to be checked against GTM data. Yeah.
And in a way, from GTM, you won't know if anything's missing until orders are being raised, and only then we would know. Unless is there any other way we would know?
You can go into this and check the exact products or exact in advance. So, like from classification, there is this manual. You can go into items. If you have any item in question, you put it here and you check if it's been classified or not. So, or the same as for the party screening when we check. So you can go in your party and you can actually put party ID, search, and then it will show you screening results. So you can see it without a transaction. There are tools to see.
Is there a way to export that to Excel? So if you just didn't fill in any field and you just click search and you massively had everything and then exported it to Excel and then query on blanks, can that work?
Yeah, but this is a kind of reverse flow, isn't it? So we only, if I click here and I click on search, it will only return me the result of what's been interfaced from the main Oracle application. it won't show you what am I supposed to see in GTM. It will only show you that's what I actually see, because that's been interfaced.
Okay. And it was only interfaced because of an order being created?
No, when you interface your items, you can see, like, if I go to classification, I click an item and I do just empty search here, it gives me all the items that's been interfaced so far in UAT environment. So that's all the items that's been interfaced from Product Hub. And if I go here to screening parties, and do again empty search here, these are all the parties that's been interfaced from Customer Data Hub.
Yeah.
So far for training.
Yes.
So
you have an export button. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can check everything from here without waiting for any transaction on it. And if there is an issue like that, so there is no transaction for this contact, but I can go and I can check and I can make a decision on screening matches. Like I can see actions, you know, like we did an actions and view the results, screening results. I can see what's going wrong here, and then I can set it as match or not match without a transaction.
Yeah. So they were. So I was having a look yesterday, and it's like you could have a look at the incomplete and yellow status, just all the yellows, for example. It was what I was doing yesterday. There's a drop-down indicator on the search screen, but I just noticed there was an export button as well. Would that export?
It will probably download you the spreadsheet from. So you mean if we do just empty?
So just above that was indicator. If you go back one.
Go back. So you want?
Yeah. So it's in the bottom indicator. Just left a bit and up a bit on the just above flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So if you go red or something. So show me. Just show me all the reds.
Okay.
And then export. And then I also saw refine query, so I wonder if that would,
No, so this downloads Excel, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's fine,
Yeah, it just gives you the, not sure what's the value of this data. Like,
I know. Yeah.
Good that you can do it, but probably there will be a situation where, but I don't even see what the value is. So same as I can see here, probably if you work with data, or you need to provide someone with, or if like someone wants me to provide data, how many transactions with red indicator we have, so I can download it in Excel and email to them. Let's say someone in the business.
Yeah.
But they actually,
okay.
At least like I couldn't find, probably because we don't have any actual working experience with these things yet. Most of the things are our best guess at the moment. That's how we think it will be.
Yeah.
But of course things will change while we. So if we will have this conversation next year, probably we will have more information or more understanding of these things.
We're probably going to like refine query and do all kind of like, I don't want the basic stuff. I want some more like complex queries or stuff like that.
Refine query only brings you to the same page where you can, change this. So refine query, you don't want red, you want yellow and search.
Okay.
And you have your yellow. So if you go refine query, so it brings you back to your query page, and that way you can change things. So it doesn't do much. I tried that before. Export it into Excel.
Yeah. So I couldn't find any yellows yesterday, so I used that just to find the yellows easily. And I was like, okay, so that's it.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow when we look at licenses, could we also look at reports as well, just to have a look at a couple of reports?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking to do.
Oh, thank you for that.
Licenses. So we have a sanctioned territorial screening, which is 2 seconds here. Then we have licenses a little bit more here, and then we have one report here, and I can show you we have a couple of reports yeah, from order management, but one of them is under defect at the moment, so still kind of work in progress.
Okay, that's another great day, Victoria. You're really banging these out. It's like it's good sessions.
I'm glad that's helpful. So hopefully Shaolin can progress with your testing based on that. But again, unless we actually start working with it, I can imagine that there will be things that we will change in the future or we will do differently. This is basically what that's what I'm saying, just best guess at the moment.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording now because I think that's the end of this session. So just